All right, we are rolling. Actually, hold up 1 second. You're sitting up a little straighter than usual.
Oh shit.
Start slouching.
I know.
This chair makes me want to like
I know.
fall into it.
This one's got a broken back. All right. Let's see. How do we start? You want me to say, Chase?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here with Colin, the artist. And the thing is about that is, Colin's played the game probably twice only, probably less than most people. How do you feel about that? Of only playing the game a few times, but spending hours illustrating.
Well, at the beginning, it was exciting to know that I was going to be learning this game, but when the amount of work that I knew I was going to need to do, all I wanted to do was focus on the artwork itself. Tabletop games were never, my forte in the first place, but the artwork always is. So
Yeah.
I was excited to do it, but it never really bothered me after a while. I was like, maybe I'll learn, but as soon as we start, I'd come over for the play tests and watch people play. I was like, I really want to draw.
Yeah.
I just want to keep drawing.
Yeah. I remember you when I asked you to do the art for it, you were like, well, I want to play the game first and make sure I like it. So I remember we went and played like a couple games, like a very early version, and the game's changed so much since then.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, I like it. I'll do the project. And then I was like, okay. And then I'm like, well, I'm changing the game a lot, and you're still doing artwork for it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know if Colin could play this version of the game right now by himself.
I mean, I had a pretty good grasp of it.
Yeah.
But really, the reason why I was so ready to jump in was because of how much you obviously cared about it and how long you worked on it.
Yeah.
And a brief explanation was enough for me to know if you're willing to care that much, then it was easy for me to just, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be fun anyway, and I needed a break from my everyday routine as it was anyhow. I was already burnt out from doing my own thing, and I needed something else to focus on, and this was perfect.
Yeah. You just wanted to draw like 100 frogs.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And krakens. I mean, I love, dark fantasy. I guess that's what you would call it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was easy for me to say yes after 5 minutes of you telling me how it worked.
Yeah. And I think for me, seeing how cool the art was coming out was helping me stay motivated to keep making the game because I'm not an artist. Me drawing things on note cards, well, doesn't really give that emotional response as much as seeing a awesome looking creature or knight and bringing them to life. And also seeing what they look like also inspired me that, oh, maybe actually this card does this, or seeing a card makes me want to like make another card that does something, just kind of inspired by the art as well.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this card is giving me, like, it looks like it's doing this, or like, what if this is its ability or something like that. So it's cool. I would like change what a card does sometimes based on after seeing the artwork. Like,
okay.
oh, like this is inspiring me to maybe do this. And I think it's really important for me to have the art of the card kind of convey what it does. And so it kind of like, it'll allow players to remember what it does because it makes sense. For example, like the type bonus of frogs, it's called bounce. I feel like that's so easy to remember, like the name, and it's like frogs bounce. But even on like an individual card level, it's like, I always like have a little story in my head for what this card is doing, and that helps me remember what it does. So I think that's important for players when they remember cards.
I actually do remember, I don't remember which specific cards because it's been a while since we've even talked about the cards and what they do, but I do remember there were a good number of them. You're like, the artwork you just sent me, I think I want to change this. So I was like, all right, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, that's a good segue. I know Cole was asking about how often I had to have you change cards and things like that. And, we have 120 cards, and I think I only had to ask you to change like a few of them, like pretty heavily. And I think one of the big ones was, and early on there was a card, Eye of Sagoth, which it was kind of inspired by some H.P. Lovecraft stuff. And like you drew it according to my description, but like something about it was not right. And I remember this is like one of the first ones I was like kind of not happy with. And how do I approach you about this card? It was super, like, after like telling you about it, you were so great. And then we got that card to look so sick. It's one of my favorite looking cards. It looks so menacing. But other than that, I think most of the changes came from you, self-imposed, as you didn't like the card after I okayed it, and you're like, I'm gonna go back and change that color, or I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, if that's what you want to do, I was happy with it. I'm just happy to have an artist, but you're kind of a perfectionist to that point where I feel like even now I'm nervous about you seeing the cards because you're going to want to change that.
Well, the nice thing is you were open to whatever I was doing. So, and any criticism that you might have, I'm willing to change. You know, because of my process, I'm able to change things pretty fast. If there was anything you needed to input, it was, oh, okay, let's do it again, or let's change this part, or whatever. And then I'd send you the update, and you'd say, heck yeah, let's go with that. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
pretty
I'm just
smooth.
happy to have an artist that it looks so good. I was just like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy with whatever I get at this point, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really change too many of them on my own. I mean, a lot of them were one and done. I mean, it was like, hey, I did this one, and you'd say sick, and we'd be like, all right, next.
On to the next, on to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can work pretty fast. You had the descriptions and what I wanted the cards to look like. I think, like, depending on your work schedule, sometimes I'd get 2-3 cards from you a day. And then sometimes it'd be like a week and I don't have a card
Yeah.
from you. But it was fine for my schedule because I was still fine tuning the game. So I didn't need, all the art. And there was always the possibility that my idea for this card changes. And I would be like, oh, actually this card is doing this now. So can it look like this, Or like, can you change the color so it is in theme with other cards that are, similar? I think what we spend a lot of time iterating on was the symbols, like for the types. I remember at Stovetop, we were there just like, because they're small, but they need to illustrate what they do. And so I remember the Beast one, my initial idea was to have like claw marks because their type bonus is to wound or deal damage. And we like spent so much time trying to get those claw marks to look cool and right. And we just weren't happy with it,
Yeah, neither one of us were.
Yeah, we're like, it doesn't look right.
It doesn't translate. It looks basic.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as good as the other symbols.
Yeah, I think the other one that was tough was the Knight one. Because I think my initial idea for the Knight was like a shield, and then it was just like, we weren't happy with it. But then you came up with we decided purple for royal colors, even though I actually don't think there's a single purple Knight in the game. Not yet.
Well, Sir Hopper's got a little bit of purple.
He's got some purple in him. There we go. Yeah. But yeah, the symbols are really nice. I really was happy with how those came out.
Yeah, we've spent some time on it. More than I thought we were going to.
Yeah, that was the first thing we did, I think, before even any art or card art itself was done. And that kind of led us to the theme. Because I remember the frog eye I was like, oh yeah, like the frog's eyes can look like this. Whenever you draw a frog, it'll be like the symbol, and that'll tie it all together.
The cultist one's my favorite.
I really like the cultist.
That one actually had probably twice as many things going on it while I was trying to design it, because trying to get the blood to translate coming out of the chalice. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, and I like how we incorporated that with the Belthor card. My head canon for this guy is like, he's like the main demon or deity that the cultists are worshiping. And he's like got the symbol in his card art because he's actually got the chalice with a dripping blood. And that's really cool to do a bit of like storytelling within the cards. I think that there's a few cards that, have a story. Like there's Victor, the Grand Strategist, and he's like a human guy playing like this version of chess. And then there's like a demon version of him where he becomes the Grand Manipulator. And so it kind of shows like a story within that. And there's a few cards that do that, like G. Grandier. He's got the tentacles in the book, like he's summoning the Eye of Sagoth. And gameplay wise, that fits. So I think it's really cool to do some storytelling in like just a couple pictures. I don't know if you felt that.
Well, when you had a story for each card and what you felt it needed for the game, I don't know, your vision makes it easier for me to translate what you're trying to get across. So when you were pretty open about it and made it real easy for me.
Yeah. And I think in a vacuum, when I was just like thinking about what this game would look like before we met and did this together, is my idea was like these would all be like dark oil painting looking, like old Magic the Gathering, and my idea would like they all be in like a part of like a manuscript. And I think that's why, that's why we have some of the card backgrounds that it look like they're on the back of a page of a book. But I think, my direction with your style really added like a very unique thing. A lot of people compare it to tarot. Like have you heard that when they see the
People-
art you're doing? Everyone
yeah.
tells me it reminds them of like a tarot card, which I think is great. I think tarot is really cool.
Yeah, people tell me to do tarot decks.
Yeah.
Which I've wanted to do, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, I get that more often than not, believe it or not. But
I've also had people ask me if I had a tattoo artist draw these because they want these as a tattoo. They like the bold lines, and I think as far as as far as your inspiration, what kind of art inspires you?
well,
Or
a lot of
artists.
different things kind of mashed together. One of the things that's difficult for any artist is trying to find your own voice, or at least your visual identity that doesn't look like everybody else's. And it took me a long time. I mean, I always would draw as a kid. Never really took it seriously until I just got fed up with not trying. And I took a lot of the inspiration that I had growing up and current and kind of just blended them together. So when I grew up, it was comic books. I used to buy comic books, or my mom would get me comic books, but I would never read the stories. I would just find my favorite artists and just figure out which book they were drawing and just look at the pictures, And as I got older, you get a bit nostalgic and you think about all the old things that you used to enjoy and how that affects you today. So tattoos are one of those, traditional tattoos specifically. There's too many people to name for inspiration, but the old cartoons I used to watch in the 80s and 90s, that kind of thing just never went away. And people just improved or just expanded on what looks cool.
Yeah.
But I wanted my own visual identity, but I loved, comic books and tattoos.
Yeah.
So I kind of just put them together, and I know that I have a very unique way of doing line work, and line work is my favorite thing to do. Once I developed my process, I'm able to knock these out in a few months.
Wow.
I should say 9 months. It took us 9 months to put this
Is that how
together.
long it took? I was trying to think of
think
like
so.
from when it started, and it's hard to like put a timeline on it because I know there was like breaks of just being busy with work and just
Yeah, some days we're busier than others. But.
And I kind of have a similar story with like the art I like. I remember before we met internet, I remember there was like a local card game shop in my hometown, and I saw the art on some Magic the Gathering stuff, and I just thought it was so cool. So my dad bought me some, and I remember like barely knowing how to read, but just love looking at all the art. And it wasn't until like years later when we got dial-up internet, I was able to like look up how to play the game, And so once I learned how to play, to me, it like brought the art alive. Like, oh, there's more than just the art. It feels like it has character when you play the game. And so like, I just really love that about card games is like, it makes the art come to life in a way for me, or have a more emotional response where like, oh, I got this card out. This card does this. And I think, self-expression with the card games, especially when you get to build your own deck, is super important for me. So, yeah.
What's your favorite card?
That's tough, I think. And it's maybe not necessarily 100% because of the art, is because I'm happy with like the gameplay design of it. And one of them is definitely a Coldra. For those of you who don't know, a Coldra is a beast that has Frenzy, which doubles its HP. And every time it takes damage from an attack, it'll double its attack. So to me, it's like every time you like hit a Hydra, it doubles its heads. And so I feel like that really illustrates mechanically with the card. And it's also just super fun because it puts so much weight on the spin if you've activated Frenzy with a Coldra, because it can get so much life where this card has the potential to one-shot a player. but you still got to be very lucky with the spins. But it's super fun mechanically, and I think it tells an interesting story, and I hope people will pick up on that. Another one is one we've mentioned before, Belthor. I just think he turned out so cool. Yeah, and his ability is also very cool. It's like the embodiment of the cultist, like destroying one of your own cards. He gets to like take double benefit from their sacrament and then add their attack to his own. So you can do some really crazy things with him, and he's pretty powerful. And I think that's really cool. I think just thematically, he's cool. He looks cool. He does something cool all around. Just a cool card. So yeah, your favorite card?
My favorite card is definitely Angel of Sacrifice.
Yeah, that one's
Bellathor, Angel of Sacrifice, and late in the game was Were-Rat.
Oh yeah,
I love the Were-Rat. I almost painted that instead of
yeah. The posing you did on him is really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of like a dinosaur-esque going a little bit.
It's a little scary.
Oh yeah, it should be. It's like it's a werewolf rat.
Yeah,
basically.
And it's hairless.
Yes.
And didn't I put like a small actual rat at the bottom somewhere?
Maybe.
I don't even remember. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Shame on me for not remembering, but
it could have been covered up by the.
Oh yeah.
Might be covered up if you did.
It exists. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't.
See it. It's underneath.
Yeah.
Text.
And the Green Knight.
The Green Knight.
The Green Knight. I just like the composition of it, and I had more going on in the background in that than some of the other ones. Just because it's hard to fit backgrounds in on a small 2.5 by 3.5 card.
Yeah, I think I get a lot of positive feedback on like cards like Sir Hopper, like one of the first cards you drew, because he's got like this pastel background, and a lot of frogs you did that with, which I think is cool for kind of the feeling of frogs, but that is like a lot of people are really drawn to that colorful background. And I think my original idea was just to save on time, is do them all on that book background. Mm-hmm. But I'm so glad we didn't, because the backgrounds add a lot of character.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to save you time at the end of the day. But yeah, the backgrounds are sick. So.
And for the book background, to elaborate on that, we needed something that we could easily use without having to create backgrounds for everything, so that we thought it would move faster, but ultimately it just became some of the cards are just going to have backgrounds because they just look better.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple cards. I think it looks really cool on, card we mentioned, Isagoth, because it's thematic, because the card that summons him, G. Grandier, he's actually got a book in his hands. And so when you see the eye, he's on that bookish background. So I think that's really cool. I think that really looks sick.
Yeah, but I did do a lot of sunrises, sunsets, and because I wanted some light and some.
Yeah, Colin can draw suns.
And sunsets. Yeah, I can draw circles. Everybody.
Yeah, it's really easy on a computer.
Yeah.
How Colin and I met or even got acquainted was Colin would put his art on like a business card just like this, and you had your Instagram on the back, and that kind of inspired me. I was like, oh, you can just print cards. I didn't know that was like ever like a thing I could do. Like I didn't know anything about it. Not that I looked super hard into it, but it just kind of, I was like, oh,
you didn't think
like
it was
yeah.
possible?
I was like, he's doing this. How does he do this? So I remember I sent you before I even knew you. I just DM'd you and said, where do you get these printed? And you sent me like the Game Crafter stuff, and I was like, awesome. I have means to print an actual card. So because I had that, I was like, okay, well, I'll want to make a game. That's actually kind of how the spinning idea came, because I remember my friends and I were out, we saw your business cards, and I had a clear phone case at the time, same with my friends, so we put a card back in there. And we would, my friends and I would do like rock, paper, scissors to like decide who gets shotgun or something, like just stupid stuff like that all weekend. We just decided to do that. And my one friend had like this kind of like some type of app where he would like put in like options and it would spin a wheel, right? And that would select. I'm like, oh, like what if there was like a card game that did that? And I was like, okay, the original idea is like we just have a card in the back of our phone and we just spin our phone and the higher number wins. And that's how,
no way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's like the first like thought. Or it was like, it was just going to be like something just for like me and my immediate friends. But then I was having a lot of fun. I like wanted to add more and more and more. Like I was like, oh, what if they had types? What if they had abilities? You know, this game started out as something. It was just gonna be like a 1 card rock paper scissors type deal, and then it was like a 3 card thing, and it's best 2 out of 3. And then I was like, okay, what if you bring 5 cards, and then
Yeah, the wheels started turning.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
and then it was like 5 cards, you ban 2, then it's still best 2 out of 3. And I was like, you know what? I think I need something a little bit more robust. My initial idea was to sell like 1 card at a coffee shop, and it was going to be specific to that coffee shop. You'd be like, oh, you got the limited edition card from like Morning Ritual or something like that, you know? But so then, yeah, it definitely grew beyond that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, to back up, like I didn't know you, I DM'd you, and then it was like I was pretty far into the design process, and I would go to Stovetop, the coffee shop, local cafe, early in the morning to work on my game before my day job started, and you would be the only other person in there, and you'd be drawing, and so I would just sit by you every morning, and I'd be like,
Look at this.
I'd be like, I'm the guy that DM'd you about the cards, and you were like, oh yeah. And I didn't dare ask you to do any art for it for a while until I was further in. And then I was like, hey, would you be interested in doing the art for it? And that's kind of how this whole thing happened.
Remember, I did Sir Hopper for fun, which is why I painted.
Yeah, you were right next to me. Yeah, I was like, yeah,
I'm like, why don't we just do this one? And it took me a day, and I was like, look what I did. And then it just snowballed after that.
I was
like,
impressed with how quick you whipped up a card. I was like, oh, yeah, cool.
I think the way it went, I was like, I think you were showing me what you had. We're like, do you have an artist yet? And you were like, no. I really wish I had one. And I was like, oh, well, maybe, maybe I could do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we just test one out?
So do you want to talk about, I don't know if people noticed, but this painting behind us?
Yeah. I can't even remember when you said something about it, but you just casually were like, oh man, it'd be so cool if we had like a painting of something, and you didn't ask me, and I knew you weren't trying to imply that I should do one, but I immediately wanted to do it. And I hadn't painted anything in probably 6 to 7 months or so. And I wanted to get back into painting again. Then I think the next day I was like, which one should we do?
Yeah, I do. It's like, oh.
We should do Bellathor. Oh, we should do this one. We could do the Were-Rat. And we settled on, or I should say I settled on.
Yeah, you had you made it feel like I had an option, but you
really didn't.
Yeah, I didn't really. And I was
didn't.
fine with that. You know, I'm not painting it.
I wanted to do Sir Hopper for a number of reasons. It was less labor intensive for one, even though it's one of the more labor intensive paintings I have done, at least recently. And 2, it was the first card we ever did.
Yeah, it's special.
Exactly. And it's more appealing to more people, I would say, when you're doing big scary.
It's not creepy. Yeah,
you do Were-Rat with blood or whatever, and not everyone's going to be like, well,
you still did add some blood, I noticed.
I did. Not too scary, right?
Yeah.
But I just knew it would fit well. Like any of these cards would have worked great on a canvas, but this one just felt right. And I loved that it was the first one that we did. And I was just like, you know what? I'm settling on that one. But it took me about a month to do.
Yeah.
It took me about 70 hours. Most of my paintings are usually just like a good handful of colors. This has more colors. It doesn't look like it, but there's more colors in this than some of my other paintings, because I definitely like a more simple, straightforward appearance. I too many colors gets muddy, but I knew this one was going to work.
Yeah.
I just knew it was going to work, and it turned out really good. At least I like it.
I think a lot of times when people see Grandspin for the first time, they're really drawn to Sir Hopper specifically. I think the background, but also like I think new players tend to gravitate towards the frogs. Like something about frogs, people love frogs.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I chose frogs is just because I had the idea of the mechanic and the name bounce. And I was like, what does that? I'm like, frogs bounce. But apparently there's a lot of people out there that just love frogs. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah. It was difficult for me too, because I wanted to do the frogs really bad. And but I had a hard time making sure they didn't look exactly like Kermit.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I didn't want them to be Kermit the Frog. I mean, just look at him. He kind of looks like Kermit, but not close enough.
Yeah.
looks different.
Yeah, I wonder if was that a challenge getting the frogs to look different enough? Because I know we've got a few different
Yeah.
colors of frogs. Like we got red,
Yep.
blue, green, obviously.
I think there's a brown one in there too.
A brown frog, maybe.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't remember all their names, but yeah. Shame on me. But well, he's not brown. He's definitely more of like a faded olive.
There we go.
Closest to brown as you can get while still being a little green.
So it became pretty apparent early on that spinning your phone or a card in the phone is not a great solution. But I was really set on having the cards spin in some way. I liked having the numbers on each side, and I have their own unique odds to fight. I think part of that was just I had the idea stuck in my head, and I was also playing a lot of like auto battler games like Teamfight Tactics where the characters kind of fight on their own. And so I think mechanically that conveys that, and I was really into that as well. I think in those auto battlers, there's also you build a team, and if your team shares a trait or a type, they get a bonus, and so that's kind of how the mechanics of the type bonuses came to be. But the spinner was actually my old roommate Joel's idea. He 3D printed one of these atop of the magnet. So this is the first iteration. Very basic.
Let me see that. Oh,
And-
you showed me these before.
And they work, but people were having a hard time, spinning them. I didn't have a problem really, but it definitely could be easier. It's not the easiest thing to do. I will say that. But I also, I was living with this. Joel was not an expert in CAD. I didn't have access to a 3D printer, so I was like, okay, this is good. This works. But it wasn't until I played the game with my friend Morgan, and he was having trouble spinning these. And next time I see him, he's like, I've made my own. Do you want to see it? I was like, yeah, I do. And that's where he came up with this version here with the sun. It's much fancier. It's easier to spin. It just looks cooler. Yeah. And so that was like really cool because like just people like the game and have contributed to it. And I didn't even have to ask these people to help out. I think that's kind of been a recurring theme with the development of Grand Spin. Even with play testing, I was just play testing with my roommate at the time. And he wasn't much of a games guy, but he would, still play, and I'd get ideas, and I'd make changes, but I needed to expand it to a greater audience. So people in Grand Rapids were awesome when they found out I was making a game, and I would have my whole apartment full of like 8 people. I'd have to bring out extra tables, extra chairs, and I got a lot of good feedback from that. The biggest change I think was caused the biggest redesign is the initial game. You would have 5 cards on your bench instead of 3, and it kind of caused a lot of analysis paralysis. There's too many cards to pay attention to, especially for new players. And then start of the game, there's 10 cards on the board. You gotta know what they're doing and analyze. So I brought that down to 3, and a lot of the cards had to change. That was my biggest major overhaul to the design is from that initial feedback. And it's something that's really important to playtest because I had all the cards memorized. So having 10 cards out was like nothing to me. I knew it. I'm like, okay, I can see the moves, the plays, but it became very apparent that that's a lot of information. So bringing it down to 3, I think, helps people make a decision faster and also feel like they made maybe the best decision as well. So that's kind of what the biggest change that came out of playtesting. I don't know if that was asked, but I'm telling you about it. Or one thing I do want to bring to attention is all the prototypes you've seen in any of the videos and things so far are 3D printed, but the Kickstarter version, they'll be made out of that same material as dice, and so they'll be have a nice weight to them and feel like more of a premium product, and I can't wait to see those. They'll be real slick. I also want to give a shout to Adam Vass, really cool guy. I was showing him my game, and he is a big tabletop RPG guy. He makes tabletop RPGs. He's got one that Bloodborg, which is he funded through Kickstarter, and he got me in touch with his buddy Logan, really getting in touch with Logan was like a huge moment because Logan helps people get their games funded on Kickstarter. He knows manufacturers, he knows the ins and outs of the industry. And to have someone as like a business mentor in that way really made me believe I could bring this project to life more than just me and my friends and like the very small local community I've gathered that are interested in the game. That is like when momentum really started to build for me. It's like, oh, I have literally everything I need to make this. I have an artist, I have someone who knows the industry, and then you introduced me to. We didn't even mention Max.
I've been wanting to, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and Colin mentioned the project to his buddy Max, who's a graphic designer, because I guess Colin can't do boxes or rule books. I didn't know it was a different skill set.
It is, yeah.
It's a different skill set.
I could have, but it was just too much of a challenge.
Yeah.
For me.
So
I was already working on the cards.
my background, I have no expertise at all in computer art at all. Part of the reason there's only like one type of card in Grand Spin is because I didn't want to have to make another card template. Like I was like, so that was, I mean, I think it turned out good. I think it's like a constraint is I wanted to only do one card template because I was really bad or just, I didn't even have a program on my computer at this when I started this to make any cards. I was like, like I had to download something. So watching YouTube videos, really figured it out and wasted a lot of time doing things incorrectly, especially when I had to make changes to hundreds of cards. I've got a much better system now. But yeah, so that's a creative constraint. And then you introduced me, or you got Max involved, and Max.
Yeah. He took my artwork and made the coolest box ever.
Yeah, he also designed the rule book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the box turned out really great.
Yeah, it's great.
And Max, Max gave me a lot of tips, mainly about how many different fonts I was using. He wanted me to narrow that down. Max had a lot of good input, and maybe was horrified by some of the original.
And some of that was something
Exactly.
that I didn't know. He's the designer, and it just made sense after a while that his input was super valuable.
Yeah. Yep. And Max is someone who I think wanted to see the project. Yeah, I remember Max wanted to see the project before he worked on it. So he came to some play testing and played it, liked it, and was willing to work on the project as well. So it just collected a group of talented people. I feel like people could see how much work I was putting into it and saw the potential there. And, people thought it was maybe worth their time to help out and be a part of. So it's been really incredible. I could not have done this by myself. It's taken a lot of people to get it to where it is today. Where do I see Grand Spin going? What I would love for Grand Spin is to, have a dedicated community, no matter how big or small it is. I would love for people to care about the game in such a way that they're discussing it would be really, really amazing. I've got ideas for expansions, and I think it'd be really cool to add on to the game. As long as, Colin is willing to draw some more for it, Colin could still be doing art for it. But yeah, I think, as long as there's a community that loves the game, I will continue to, improve upon it and make it the best I can and, provide interesting content. It's been really rewarding just to make it for myself. It's really rewarding to share with people. So I would love kind of the whole reason for the Kickstarters. I just want people to experience it. And, I want that feedback. What is, now that it's outside of Grand Rapids, what does the world at large think? And are people coming together? Are people meeting because of this game? And I would love to be part of the discussions about, oh, this card's so cool or this card's too strong. Although I do want to say I have spent so much time balancing the game. So
you don't want to get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Not to say that, but that's always gonna happen. Any game, people are like, what's the meta? Like what is the best deck, or like what is the strongest deck?
Well, I think the amount of work you put into it shows.
I appreciate it.
And there's something to be said about trying to keep continuing and flesh it out. You could do it forever, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I think you got something special on your hands for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that, Colin.
Chase, tell us more about the Kickstarter.
So the whole game comes in a box this size. And for $25, you pledge, you will get this box with every card as well as 2 spinners. There is a deluxe version, which runs at $50. It comes in a black box, which I don't have to show right now, but every card in there will be holographic. That also will come with 12-pack of Bounceling tokens that are alternate colors that are also hollow. There's also an ability to do a $10 add-on for 2 additional spinners, which the box will hold. The box will hold up to 4 spinners. That'll allow you to do the drafting mode with your 2 of your best friends, 3 of your best friends, and they will be mystery colored resin. I won't even know what color they are. The way this works is the manufacturer is going to use leftover resin from their other projects and make spinners out of them. So they'll truly be unique. And the polarity on the magnets will be in a way that every magnet, top and bottom, is compatible. So you can customize your spinners that way and truly have, a unique spinner in that aspect. There's also a retail tier. So if you're a retailer or game store seeing this, there is a wholesale option for you. Or if you want your local game store to carry the game, send them our way. $150 will get them a case of Grand Spin boxes. So that's it for the Kickstarter. There's really not, I want people to be able to have the full game. So there's no booster packs or anything. I want people to be able to get the game and experience it in its entirety. The minimum amount to do that is $25, and it comes with everything you need. I don't know if I mentioned, but it also comes with 5 dice and the rule book and like cardboard light trackers. I should be getting the demos from our manufacturer sometime in a week or 2. So yeah, if you could support on Kickstarter, that'd be great. Thank you.
Peace.
You don't forget.